Good morning, students. We are here again. My name is Nicholas Igele, and I teach you financial accounts. In our last lesson, we were discussing manufacturing account as our topic, and as I told you before, manufacturing account is an account prepared by a business unit that manufacture what they sell, as against buying to resell. Before now, we are treating trading profit and loss account, which is account for organizations that buy goods from the market, stock their warehouse, and then start selling in bits to wholesalers or retailers and then generate their profit. But for manufacturing account, it is an account prepared by business organizations that manufacture the goods before they sell. So you see, it's essential that the organization have a very accurate and a very standardized way of costing the goods that material that they use to produce the finished goods, so that they can, at the end of the day, produce a financial statement that will not overstate or understate profit. So it's important we understand how the manufacturing account works, especially for organization that produces in order to resell. So you see, it's an important, very important topic. Now, in our last lesson, we were looking at the format of the prime cost. We discussed up to prime cost, but for sake of reminder, let me give you a brief rundown of what we discussed under the format. We saw the components of the prime cost. This is the prime cost, but what are the components? We saw that there is what? The cost of raw material use, the direct labor, the wages paid to workers that are directly associated with the product that is being produced. The wages paid to them is called direct wages. Then we have direct expenses. Direct expenses are all the expenses that can be directly traced to the finished product. Is that okay? And then we have royalties. Royalties also has to do with raw materials that are connected with the final product. But the essential part here, is this cost of raw material use. How do we arrive at the cost of raw material used? This figure, very important. What we did here is that we get the opening stock. If it's a going concern, this business that we're looking at here has existed for at least one period before now. So they will have an opening stock. The closing stock of the previous period is the opening stock of the current period. Now we have the opening stock of those raw material, which was the closing stock of the previous period, becomes the opening stock of this period. Let's say the last period was the closing stock of last period, 2019 December, was say 25,000. 25,000 is worth 25,000 naira. Now you bring that down as opening stock of this period, January 2020. Now you have that in naira. Then you have the purchases of raw material. How much did you buy the current good? Because the opening stock is not enough for you to produce the number of units of a particular product you are buying. For that reason, you need to go to the market and get more raw materials in order to produce. If it is a confectionery store where you produce cakes, bread, and so on, then you need more flours. If it's where you are producing blocks for buildings, then you need more cement as raw material and sand, as the case may be. So we have that cost of raw material purchase. You add it to the opening stock. You add the cost, the purchases of raw material to the opening stock. Now the goods, the raw material didn't just get to your workshop. Didn't just get there. You have to transport them using trucks or any public transport. How do you do that? How do you capture that? You capture it under the caption carriage inward of raw material. Carriage inward raw material. You add that to the opening stock, to the purchases, and then you have this figure. This figure. Is that okay? Now, from this figure, you are to less if the quality, part of this goods, this figure here, if there is any quantity here that or any specimen in the raw material that does not meet your specification, the quality does not match what you want, you have to return it in backward. For example, if you are buying cement as raw material and then you find that the one is wet and it has become stiff like stone, you can't use that to produce blocks. So you have to return that. or they are woods, for example, if the wood is bad or they have been eaten by termites, you have to return those set of goods back to your supplier. That you will less. That the amount, the worth of that goods that you return will be less from this figure. Then you will have a figure, this figure, which we call cost of raw material available. Cost of raw material available for use. Yes. Now, from this figure, you at the end of the period, you will look at use all the raw materials. If you haven't used the raw materials, it means that there are some still remaining. So you have to remove that from the total raw material that is available at the beginning. You remove the stock of goods that is remaining at the end of the period. Now you are about to prepare a financial statement and you want to get the cost of raw material you use in the production of the goods you have sold. Now you have to remove the goods, the raw material that is remaining in your store from the goods that is available at the beginning. So you less that, you will have this figure. This figure is called cost of raw material used. This figure, after you remove your closing stock from the total available raw material, then you remove the closing stock, the stock of inventory that is made at the end of the year, you will have the cost of raw material that you have used or that you have consumed in the process of producing the product for that period. Now, the next thing, now we have our direct. This figure represents the direct materials. This figure represents the direct material you have used and that in that period. Okay. Now we come to what the next important detail under the prime cost. A cost that is directly traceable to the product again is the direct labor. Those that are directly involved in the production of whichever material, whichever goods that you are producing. The wages you pay to those workers is called direct wages. These workers are this wages is paid to individuals that work directly. They have contact with the product you are producing. So the wages paid to them must be captured under the prime cost. That's why we have brought it here as direct labor. There are other wages. Remember, there is manager. You can have manager in your the supervisors and other admin staffs, personnel manager, and so on in your organization. But those salaries or wages you pay to those administrative staff are not to be captured under the prime cost because their wages is indirect and cannot be traced directly to the product. Though those workers are important, those organizational personnel are important, but they are not directly involved in the production of these goods. So they are not, their wages is not to be captured here. So in your question or your trial, you might see about 3-4 types of wages. Is now left for you to decide and use your knowledge of manufacturing account to pick the wages that correspond to direct wages. And it comes that we'll do a lot some examples, and then you get to know how to fish that figure out. Is that okay? Now we have direct expenses. There are expenses that are also, they are not wages, they are not raw material, but they are expenses that are also traceable to the final product. Maybe design, the design of the school bag or design of the chair or the furniture or whatever product you are producing. The design of this pen, for example, whoever designed it, the cost of designing it and the structure and frames and everything that went into the design of this pen, for example, will be costed under direct expenses because the feature can be seen in the final product. Okay, so we have direct expenses. You add that to the other figures there. Then we have royalties. Royalties have to do with materials that you get from the natural resources around the environment where you carry out your production. And the royalties are direct material. They could be traced to the final product. Maybe if it's bricks, blocks, building blocks you are constructing, or whatever. If the materials that you have extracted from the environment is used there and you have paid some money to the government in that locality, it's captured under royalties and you are to add it. That's these 4 items that the cost of raw material, direct material, the direct labor, the direct expenses and royalties will sum up to what your prime cost. This is your prime cost. This is where we are going to. This is where we stopped in our previous lesson.